what you see with Larry Pesavento. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648 or internationally at 727-445-1044. Now, Larry Pesavento.
Okay, looking good, Billy Ray, feeling good, Lewis. Welcome from Hong Kong, China. I'll be showing a couple things here that you might be interested in a little bit. And of course, one of the big things is the fact the DAX here, as you see, we've made some type of a double bottom here the other day, and we've had a pretty good bounce off that area, much as we've had in the stock indices here in the United States. I don't know if it's means anything yet or not, but we made a 78% retracement of the whole move in the Dow Jones yesterday, a little bit above the 61% retracement in the S&P, but we'll cover that in just a little bit. But the main thing that I wanted to go and cover here before we get started in some of these other things are some of these other markets. Now, I want you to see the pattern that we had in the FTSE here, because this is really important, folks, because the FTSE came in and made a butterfly bottom. As you can see here, that you had that beautiful ABC butterfly coming in, and we had a pretty good reversal there in it so far. That was coming out of 68,500, and that means we could be at some type of a bottom. But going below there would set up some really negative things happening. Now, part of this action that we're having in the FTSE, I think, has something to do with what's been going on with this Russian thing and with the spies and all this other stuff, which is about 7 levels above my pay grade. So, we'll have to wait and see. Now, I've had a request to let the folks see what it looks like in Hong Kong here at night, and I'll just bring this up so you can take a look at it, and we'll get it here, and you'll be able to see it without too much trouble. Give me 1 second here, and I'll try to explain what's happening and what we're looking at here. Okay, what you're looking at here, this is the view from the Intercontinental Hotel. This is where the grandkids and the in-laws are staying, Kelvin and Vivian and the boys, and the 4-year-old and the 6-year-old, Avery and Mitchell. And we were there today when it was light out. And this is Hong Kong at night, and it is one of the most beautiful cities in the world at night. And at Christmas time, it has absolutely no equal, because all of these buildings are lit up like you just can't believe how Santa comes in and hits the old lighting button in Hong Kong. It is really spectacular. So if you ever got here during the Christmas holidays or New Year's, especially Chinese New Year's too, it's really amazing. Now, they have a big laser show each night here at the harbor. That's the South China Sea that you see there. That boat that you see out there, that's the Star Ferry that takes you from Hong Kong to Central. What you're looking at now, this is Tsim Sha Tsui, which is part of Kowloon, and you're looking over at Central. The big golden dome that you see there, that is the convention center, and behind that you'll see a large financial building. I believe that's the Bank of China. I'm not sure, but it's one of the big banks. I'm just not sure which one. So that's what you're looking at right here. Today it was extremely exciting because the kids, they had checked into the hotel, and we were looking at this spectacular view. This was right from their window, and here came 3 very, very fast police boats chasing someone. It was just like out of a doggone movie. You thought that it might be, but, there were no helicopters there doing any filming, so it was really exciting. I don't know where they were going, but they were certainly after somebody with a great deal of gusto. Okay, let's move on to the other things that we've got to cover here. We got some big things happening in these market, folks. This market was really set up to really take the old flying Melinda come in this morning. I just wanted to show you this chart that we've shown here several times over the past couple of years here at TFNN, and that is the one thing that the major stock crashes that we've had, the one from 1929 and the 1987, the one thing that, well, they actually have 2 things in common. The one thing that they have in common was it was exactly 55 days from September 3rd into the low of October 28, 1929, and it was exactly 55 days between August 25th, 1987 into October 19th, 1987. Well, that day was today. If it was going to come down, it was supposed to come down. And given the fact that it had such a big move down on Friday, closing so badly, it looked like it was ready to, open lower and just head south. And it didn't do that. It stopped. It didn't even open lower, on Monday night, Sunday night. And that was saying that this scenario that we're looking at most probably was not going to happen the way that it was purported to be. Now, one of the things that we're doing here in China is, we get to visit some nice folks and stuff, and just to show you the reach of TFNN, which is really amazing, folks. 2 years ago, I was over in Kiev with Tom Hugard giving a Forex seminar on a Saturday and Sunday. The folks from all through the Ukraine and other parts of Eastern Europe were there, people from Kuwait. And you would not believe the number of people that came up to ask to have selfies taken of me. I think there were probably close to a dozen people that listen to TFNN. And we see the same thing happening in China, in Shanghai, in Hong Kong. I mean, it's a global thing that people listen to TFNN. So, we have a responsibility here to try to give them some really good stuff, and the folks here certainly do. But my hat's off to Tom O'Brien for this, because it really has a big reach. Now, you don't hear it about a lot, but when people come up to you and say, "Gee, I listen to your show all the time," it really makes you feel kind of good, actually. Okay, let's take a look here at one of the charts that the folks were talking about here in Hong Kong on Saturday during the seminar. I'll cover a few of the things that we did, but one of the main things that they had asked about was this island reversal pattern that we've had in the NASDAQ. This is a daily. This is the NASDAQ 100. That's the big one, of course, that includes Facebook. And that's what they were talking about. That it is certainly a valid pattern, and it's usually very, very bearish. And given the close that the NASDAQ had on Friday, you would have thought that it was getting ready to take a flying Melinda to the downside with a big gap and everything else happening. But that is not the way it proceeded to happen. So let's remember that sometimes God's greatest gifts are unanswered prayers, so we'll have to wait and see what's going to happen. The other big thing that's happening in China today, and this is really interesting because this is a fabulous place for trading in Shanghai, because they have a 93-year-old, let's try it again, Larry, a 93-story brand new building. Well, it was 4 years ago, because Sarah and I were over here 4 years ago to help dedicate the building for the Shanghai Stock Exchange. But today they started trading crude oil futures for the first time ever in China. They started out with West Texas crude, and they did well over 23,000 contracts, which have a notional trading volume of over 10 billion yuan. And that's really a notional, is they take a standard unit and compare it to what it is. I think just using the regular 23,000 is amazing, because we only had 1,500 Bitcoin traded first day. 877-927-6648. We'll be right back.
The TAS Profile Scanner Plus, developed by John Logan and his team, is a standalone piece of software that can change the way you trade. Let the TAS Profile Scanner work for you by scanning over 5,000 financial instruments such as stocks, ETFs, commodities, futures, and Forex. Right now, you can get a 30-day free trial to the TAS Profile Scanner Plus right at TFNN.com. And when you sign up, you gain instant access to John Logan's most recent webinar, How Price, Volume, and Time Make Market Profiles So Unique. This hour-long webinar with John Logan will walk you through the most powerful features of the scanner and how you can use it to become a more successful and profitable trader. You pay absolutely nothing for 30 days while you try out this software risk-free. For more information on the TAS Profile Scanner and to get your 30-day free trial today, visit the front page of TFNN.com.
Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den. The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of the TFNN shows, plus see all of the charts as they happen live and have access to archives of all of those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days and greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets and how to make your money work for you. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com.
The Path of Least Resistance is David White's daily trading newsletter, and if you're looking for active trading ideas, then now's a perfect time for a 30-day free trial to this powerful daily trading advisory service. David uses his years of trading experience to offer his subscribers his trading ideas each morning in his Path of Least Resistance newsletter. Using a combination of equity trades along with options, David keeps his subscribers up to date with all pertinent market information with intraday afternoon updates when warranted. Don't miss out on this great chance to get a 30-day free trial to David's daily newsletter, The Path of Least Resistance, with no obligation to pay anything. David has been delivering solid recommendations for his subscribers recently, and if you'd like to see the type of newsletter he delivers every morning, then visit the front page of TFNN and you'll find the Path of Least Resistance under Trading Newsletters. For all the details and to start your 30-day free trial today, log on to TFNN.com now.
Tiger TV is an exciting way to experience TFNN programming. See high-definition video giving you crystal clear charts, as well as seeing some of the faces of TFNN's highly acclaimed financial experts with crisp, full-fidelity sound. Catch Tom O'Brien, John Logan, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, Larry Pesavento, Think or Swim, David White, Andy Hecht, and Daryl Martin in crystal clear, high-definition audio and video. Tiger TV, exclusively at TFNN.com. Larry takes your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
Okay, we're back, folks, and I just wanted to bring something to your attention that we never trade. Well, never is a very, 50 years, I guess. It makes it never pretty close. We have a pattern going on in the coffee market that really looks extremely interesting, folks. I hope I have it here. I believe that I do. Let's get it up here. Nope, that's not it. One second. Oh dear. Well, let me try to pull it up in just a little bit. But the reason why we're here is that we have so many folks here that we've trained over the years, and we really enjoy coming over here every year to meet with them. And it's all about making money, so we spend the whole day going over ways, to pick out things that we're looking to trade the coming weeks and months. That look really, really interesting, and that's what the whole thing is all about, is trying to make a few bucks, which is really a lot of fun with really nice people. There's a few newbies in the group, but there's a lot of people that are professional traders, from hedge fund people to people that are just out, trading on their own. It was very fun for us because we had one of our favorite people there who is going to have his wife's going to have another baby in the next day or so, and he was there, and he's Mr. Mom now. He quit his job and he's trading full time. He only trades the euro, and but he really enjoys it very much. Now, one of the questions that we've had this morning here is about Facebook, and I just wanted to bring the chart up here for Facebook because it's in the news quite a bit, and anytime you get the news, you'll get these patterns showing up even more time. For just a second, we'll take a look here. You'll be able to, I'll post that coffee chart in just a few minutes, folks, but I wanted to show you the Facebook because you'll notice when it made its top up there at that 193 level, that was a beautiful ABCD pattern up there. It was also a 3-drive pattern up at the 193 level. And now we've completed an ABCD pattern to the downside. That was a perfect ABCD coming in there at that 160 level. Like Twentyman says, defy human nature, do the work yourself. But that was a big ABCD. Now, I don't know what Facebook is doing this morning, but all I know is it's due for a rally, and the rally should be about somewhere around $12, and that would take you up to the $13 up to around the 172 level. That would be a 61% retracement, and at that point you'd have that 135 pattern that you're looking at here in Facebook, where each low is higher lower than the previous high. You know, we have lower highs, you're in a downtrend, and that's what we have going on. So in the future, in the next, let's say, the next 2 or 3 weeks, I would expect a rally up into this area of 176, and then a move down to 146 in Facebook, which would be a 61% retracement of the move from way back in December. Now, if we exceed the 180 level, up at 182 or something, that this pattern would certainly be failing, and you'd be looking at a much higher price in Facebook. So those are the ones that we're looking at today from the stock market standpoint, from the fact that it is one of the most highly advertised stocks in there, and none of the news is good about it. So I don't know what's going to happen from it. As opposed to Apple, Apple gets all kinds of free advertising. I can't even imagine how much it is in value, because it's always mentioned on Bloomberg and CNBC, because it is the most widely held stock and the most valuable stock out there. So it is due to get a lot of free stuff, and boy, they certainly get it, and they do use it, extremely well. Now, I do want to bring up this coffee chart, because I haven't traded coffee, folks, in well over, let me see, it's been 50 years since I've traded coffee, but it's got a pattern that just lights up the tote board. Let's bring this one up here to take a look at it here. This is the spot coffee, going back well over a year and a half. If you'll notice here, that you're looking at, well, it's 1 full year. Sorry, folks. You'll be looking at this beautiful bottom coming down here around that 116 level. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4 ABCD patterns telling you we're going to get to about 116. I don't know where coffee is trading now, but that is a lot of support in there. That really is. That tells you that there's a whole lot of cycles that are coming in on coffee at that point. If I had my choice, if I had a pattern like that every time, that's the only pattern I would ever trade, either up or down. And so I would really pay really close attention. Could someone tell me, yeah, they're the low of the day at 1662. So we're right in that ballpark of coffee. So we're going to be following this one. Another one that we have to take our hats off to in the market for futures is our good friend Mr. Z. John from Philadelphia comes on, and you'll notice here, back on January the 8th, Elvis's birthday, he said that he's buying cocoa at 1845 with a stop at 1800, and it is trading at 2631, folks. I mean, that's 8 handles. That's 8 large, $8,000, and the risk on that trade he was taking was $400. If you only had 4 or 5 of those a year, you'd make a terrific, income on. So that's really important. Now, some of the other things that we did during the day that we were talking on Saturday is we looked at about 6 different. Actually, there were 7 different trades that we were looking at for today. 2 of them were in the crude oil complex, shorting heating oil, and then also shorting the crude oil. Both of those started out quite nicely today. We also had a trade in the currencies. We're long the euro, and that one also started out really nicely. Now, the euro trade was implemented by automatic trading. We had some guests there that work on automatic trading, and we had some ideas that we kicked around in the room about the opening price and how it worked. We came up with this strategy. We tested it over a 10-year period, and then we put it in action this morning, and it's been right 3 out of the 4 times, and the 4th time was a break even. You had 3 winners, and the 4th time was a break even. I'm going to do a seminar on this for the 24/7 folks at TFNN and listeners that want to kick in on it, because it has got some statistics that'll just knock your socks right off. And if you don't wear socks, it'll knock your hat off. It's really amazing, folks, the hidden biases that are in the euro currency. And when you stop and think, it's the largest trading thing in the world, that is really amazing. Do you know there are 3 days of the month that give you a bias like you just can't believe? I mean, it is really startling when you take a look at it. And the way we found this out was to do a scatter diagram to see when the highs and lows were made during any particular period, and then run a back test to see if it stood the test of time, and that's what it did, and it really works. And so I want to be bringing that forward. Now, it doesn't work on all the currencies, but it does work, on the euro, and this goes back 20 years. And, the euro didn't start trading back till I think 99 is when they first brought it out. 2000 is when they brought out the currencies and stuff and the coins for the euro. But those are the main things that it's really exciting to see that. So that's what we were doing, and doing a few other things. Another one that we were looking at, we didn't quite get filled in it, but it's still early in the day, is the, I want to cover this. Oh, we got a break coming up already. Shut the front door and raise the rent. Let's just take a quick look at this one here. And then we'll talk about gold here in just a second. 877-927-6648.
Larry Pesavento has just started his brand new service, Fibonacci 24/7, and he's already delivering content to his subscribers on a daily basis when the market's opened and even on weekends. Each Monday, you'll receive Larry's written report that provides detailed commentary and a summary on the charts and videos that Larry sends out. And throughout the week, when warranted, Larry will send out via charts or videos or both the key markets that he is watching during the day. This will be up-to-the-date, active trading information that will help you in your daily trading. In Larry's first week alone, he sent out 25 charts, 6 videos, and a full report to his subscribers in just 1 week. If you're a technical trader that uses patterns and retracements to trade, then Larry's service Fibonacci 24/7 is something that you must try. Right now, new subscribers can get a full 30-day money-back guarantee. With nothing to risk, sign up now to Larry Pesavento's Fibonacci 24/7 by visiting the front page of TFNN.com under Trading Newsletters. In quiet markets, investors search for new trading opportunities. We'd like to introduce you to a new product that provides opportunities even in flat markets. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a new and innovative Chicago-based exchange registered with the Commodity Futures Trading Commission, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their trading platform. Nadex never charges a fee to use their platform, which even includes real-time charts and full customization capability. Nadex's unique short-term binary options allow traders and investors to capitalize on strategies even when the underlying markets are quiet. Nadex's innovation has allowed them to come up with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com, or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
Platinum, grains, crude oil, gold, copper, cattle, hogs, gasoline, natural gas, coffee, cotton, cocoa, and sugar. These are just some of the commodities mentioned in the most recent issue of Andy Hecht's Techno-Mental Commodity Report. Andy publishes his weekly newsletter every Thursday morning, where he breaks down the commodity market and provides his subscribers with specific trading recommendations based on his trading methodology. By signing up for a free trial to the Techno-Mental Commodity Report, you'll get a full 30 days to try out this powerful newsletter service and see for yourself the types of trades Andy has recommended for his subscribers. When you sign up for a 30-day free trial, you're under no obligation to pay anything. And should you decide to continue, you will lock in the low rate of only $79 a month. Sign up right now for the Techno-Mental Commodity Report and make sure you're ready to catch the next big trade in commodities. For more information and to get started today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Okay, folks, I wanted to talk about gold a little bit because you can see this chart that we have here shows a beautiful ABCD pattern up here at the 1353 level. We're not seeing this in platinum. We're not seeing this in silver. We're not seeing this in the XAU or HUI, the gold bug index. I mean, it's just, they're lagging very, very badly. I find it hard to believe that gold's going to break out to the upside without pulling silver and platinum with it. Of course, that could happen at any moment, But right now, they're still lagging, quite badly. We'll see if this is going to hold up or not. But any close above 1365, in my opinion, in the gold market will be a really valid breakout, talking about a price level at least $150 higher, close to the $1,500, per ounce level in gold. And believe me, folks, if gold could make $1,500 an ounce, and we can see what happened to Bitcoin because it got to almost 20,000. Gold could easily go back to $2,500 an ounce without too much trouble. It's really amazing because it's backed off over the last 5 years from the high we made in the summer of 2011. In fact, we were here giving a seminar at that time. And gold was trading at the 1900 level, and open interest was dropping like crazy, and the prices kept going higher, and that was, screaming that it was nothing more than short covering. And of course, when that happened, it broke badly and then had a, big correction, all the way down to, I believe it got down to 1,030 was the low that we made back on December the 16th of 2016 when we made that 3-drive to a bottom pattern. So those are the things, that really interest me in the gold, because it does have some long-term bullish patterns. Boy, there's no question about it. It really does look good on a long-term basis. The question is what's going to happen with this ABCD pattern that we have now? I want to shift gears here for just a second and talk a little bit about the work of Chris Carolyn. He's a fellow that did a lot of work with Robert Prechter, but he also did a lot of work on astrology, and especially things that were related to the lunar cycles. I can't remember the name of the book that the Spiral Calendar was the name of the book that he came out with. And of course, the Spiral Calendar is nothing more than that Fibonacci spiral that we look at all the time, that is also related to the planets and all these other things, which I'll try to expand on in just a little bit. But I want you to, to look at this as what he's talking about and how these cycles actually occur. And it doesn't make any difference what the reasoning is behind them. And and I'm not sure what the reasoning is behind some of these either, but it just shows you that we have some really strong lunar things that are happening. Here is what Chris was expecting, for this week. We'll bring this up to let you take a look at it. We get this from our good friend, Mr. Z, that sent it on to me. And I'm going to try to get Chris as a guest. I've met him several times. I've, not knowing him personally, of course, but I've met him and we've, talked a little bit. But maybe I can get him on the radio show to discuss that. But before that happens, on Wednesday, we're going to have our good friend, Dr. Al Larson from Money Tide out of Thornton, Colorado. He's going to be our guest on Wednesday. And we'll be talking to Al about some lunar cycles and other things that he has that are, quite interesting, because he is one of the smartest men I have ever met. And he's got a double PhD, and he is one smart cookie. But anyway, this is what Caroline was looking at, a bottom to come in 1 or 2 days from where we are right now. It looks like it came in overnight, on Sunday. So we'll see if that's going to if that's going to have any effect on the market. But so far, we've had a 400-point rally in the Dow Jones. That's the main thing that we're watching here. So anyway, we're going to keep looking at that, and then we'll do a few other things that I wanted to show you that we did for the seminar in Hong Kong. A couple of trades we were looking at. Of course, coffee was one. The euro was one, and we had the shorts in the crude oil and the heating oil. Both worked, well starting out with. They both made their first profit objective. Whether they continue down or not is basically anybody's guess. But you can see here. Let's do the heating oil one, because that's the easiest one to see. We'll bring this heating oil up, and you'll see the same pattern. In the crude oil that you see in the heating oil, you'll see that it has the same type of pattern. It went right up to that level at 202. It immediately broke, 2.5 cents, which is really what you're looking at, is trying to control the risk, because that's the main thing. That's the only thing you can do in your trading is control the risk of the things that you're looking at. And so those are the ones that we were looking at, there were a couple others, the coffee and then, the grains. We've got a really interesting pattern coming possibly in the soybean oil futures. So take a look at your charts on that. Maybe we'll cover that later on this week, but that's another one that looks really interesting. And remember, we have in 5 days, we have the planning intentions report that comes in on March 31st. And so that'll be a real interesting day because it'll be effective at the end of this week, I guess. You take 26 and you add 5. Yeah, it comes in on the 30th. So we want to be watching it closely on Friday. We will have Sim only on right after the 1st of April. And we'll have him on, and also with Rich Anderson to discuss some of the ramifications of the planning intentions report. Remember, we've had several years of bumper crops now, so it's very unusual that we get 3 years in a row of bumper crops. That's the key thing, to really keep in mind, as you're looking at things. I wanted to discuss just a tiny bit about this spiral calendar that Chris Carolyn talked about, the 1.618 number in this, because it's really an interesting one to take a look at. If you'll give me 1 second here, I will bring it up here so you can take a quick look at it, and hopefully you'll be able to see. I hope that's it. Let's see if we can get it up here. Yep, there you can see the picture, of the, this is from a book called The Little Book of Secrets. And what it is, I can't remember the author's name. It's only about 60 pages. It's a little hardcover book. But it basically shows how the harmonics in the Venus and Mercury patterns look as they go through their cycles. In other words, they cycle through their synodic periods. And it basically shows the Fibonacci sequence of numbers. And this is what Leonardo da Vinci found back in 1242 AD when he wrote the paper Liber Abaci, which means freedom from numbers. And he basically showed that if you took 0 and 1 and added together, and that's really what you're doing with a computer. It's nothing more than zeros and ones. But if you take 0 and 1 and add it together, you get 1, and 1 and 2 is 3, 2 and 3 is 5. You'll see that once you get down to the 8th energy, hold it, let's get this up here so we can see it again. And we'll be able to take a quick look at it. 1 second here, folks, and we'll get this chart. This is a really interesting chart. There we go. But when you get down to the 8th integer down there, you'll notice that the number goes from 6182 to 6180 and then 6181. It either goes higher or lower by 1 10,000th, and then it keeps going out to 100,000ths, millionths, trillionths, billionths. It goes to infinity, and it never changes. And that's why the Fibonacci numbers are telling you that the markets repeat over and over again, and with that repetition comes prediction. And that's what we're trying to do. 877-927-6648.
Would you like exposure to the foreign currency markets without any downside risk to your principal? Then consider the Petro Currencies Market Safe CD from Everbank. This 3-year U.S. dollar-denominated CD leverages the performance of 4 equally weighted currencies from these top oil-producing countries: Brazil, Canada, Mexico, and Russia. This CD features a 200% leverage factor, which means that your potential upside payment will be double the currency's average performance at maturity with no cap if the currencies increase in value over the CD's term. And if the returns are negative, your principal's 100% protected. Returns are based on CD performance with no correlation to the price of oil, and there is no annual percentage yield or periodic rate of interest on this index CD. The April 19th funding deadline will be here before you know it. So call 1-855-750-4051 or visit everbank.com/TFNN for the CD's term sheet and other important product details and disclosures. This advertisement is sponsored content. Everbank is a division of TIAA FSB, member FDIC.
TFNN has put together the finest programming lineup each trading day, featuring some of the most knowledgeable and respected financial minds in the nation to educate traders and investors. On Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, we broadcast 8 hours a day, starting at 9 a.m. as Larry Pesavento kicks us off with Trade What You See. Tuesdays and Thursdays, we broadcast 11 hours. Get an early and healthy start to your day as Nico and Paige bring you Living a Primal Lifestyle. Then catch Andy Hecht at 5 p.m. with the Commodities Hour, following the Tom O'Brien Show. Swim lessons from TD Ameritrade Think or Swim is now at 11 a.m., followed by Basil Chapman at 12 noon. See the TFNN program lineup via the link on the front page of TFNN.com to get a complete overview of our TFNN shows and hosts. And keep TFNN's Tiger TV tuned in on your mobile device, PC, or Mac for the latest financial news and information throughout the broadcasting day. TFNN.com, educating investors.
Biotech is booming, but for how long? Whether you think the biotech bull has room to run or has run its course, trade LABU or LABD. Directions Daily S&P Biotech 3 times bull and bear ETFs. Visit directioninvestments.com/biotech today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
The Bull Bear Binary Option Hour, brought to you by Nadex. Next on TFNN.
Okay, we're back, folks, and we had a caller in from Philadelphia, our good friend, Mr. Z. John, how are you this morning?
Larry, thank you for taking the call. I do have to hand it to Tom O'Brien and his team. The beauty of being able to talk to you from the U.S. via Florida while you're in Hong Kong. That is just terrific.
Yeah, that's for sure. You know something else, John, that's going on in China? They're not using cash anymore. Everything's done on the phone apps, and cash is pretty much non-existent over there, and it's going to be coming to Hong Kong here very, very soon. So I guess it's going to come everywhere in the world. So that's a new thing in the future, but it's really amazing that it's that's happening. Go ahead, my friend. What was the question that you had?
Wanted to ask your fresh eyes, please, on the T-bond futures contract.
Sure.
T-bonds are currently, that June 30-year bond contract is up near 145. Mm-hmm. It's been chopping higher, just a real shallow chop higher since February 21st. Question for you, do you see any pattern that suggests either a surge extension higher or a top forming? I'm wondering what your chart patterns are telling you, please.
Okay, John, I posted the T-bond chart from the newsletter this week, and I've noticed that during the October-December level, we had a rally, went from 150 up to 155, and if we get that same rally that we have during February, March, April into late April, early May, that would take us up to that 147 level. And somewhere between 146 and 147, I would think, I've noted it as Christmas comes early, because this would be a really great place to get short, because interest rates are going higher. They're certainly not going to be going lower, at least from these charts that we're looking at here. But this is a very bearish chart. Interest rates are going to be going higher. So if you've got to, refinance your house or something, I would certainly recommend folks to do it now, because rates will be higher probably 6 months or a year from now, probably substantially too. But that's what it looks like in bonds. And notes look even worse, John. They're even rallying less. So that's another one that looks, really, really interesting. So that's what I see as I look at these this morning. That we are getting a rally, but boy, it's really a dead cat bounce. It just doesn't have any, and it should not have any gusto, because we've turned the corner. We're up 32 years of lower interest rates. That's changed. We're heading towards higher interest rates. How many years, I don't know, but it's going to be substantial.
Can I ask a follow-up question? I asked this question having the knowledge of your personal trading style, how disciplined you are with patterns. The follow-up question is, would you make the case that you'd wait on short sales for this ZBM8 contract to move up to 147, 148 before taking a stab at the short side?
Well, I try to follow the patterns, and right now we don't have a pattern that really says we're doing much. We've been in sideways now for several weeks here with a high of 145. We broke down to 143. Now we're back to 144. So we're really doing nothing. There's just so many greater opportunities in, some of these other things that we look at. The currencies, of course, gold, silver. These are ones that seem easier to trade because the patterns are completing. And with this Treasury notes and Treasury bonds, they're just in limbo. So you don't really have a clear picture of where you should be. That's from looking at patterns. I don't know anything about the fundamentals, but it just, to me, looks like we're going to be going sideways to slightly higher for a little bit. But on any sharp break to the downside, then I will begin to get aggressively bearish. If we get back below 142 in these June bonds, that'd be pretty negative, in my opinion. So I don't see anything clear right now.
Okay, I appreciate that. Thanks so much, and thank you for highlighting that pattern that you see on the daily coffee chart. That's a pattern that attracts me. So thanks so much.
Yeah, that's for sure. John, I appreciate you calling in, my friend, and all the posts that you have. And that cocoa, boy, that's we should write a article in one of the magazines about that one, because that's been a monster move. Congratulations on that one.
Well, I did profit, but I got off down at 2,100, so I did not capture this 2,100 to 2,600 rally. Of course, you know me, I kind of like to understand why things are moving, and I have no idea what's going on with the crops over in Africa. I think Andy Hack is the only guy who does
yeah, he knows that quite a bit. Yeah, he sure does.
Anyway, so I need to listen to him more. So thanks so much, Larry. Good day to you.
Thanks a lot, John. All right, we want to take a quick look here at the Australian dollar, because if you look, hey, yeah, thank you, John, for calling in. I thought we were off the air. Anyway, we'll take a look at this Australian dollar. It has a very similar pattern that we have with the coffee, except that it's in an uptrend, whereas coffee's in a pronounced downtrend. The Australian dollar is in an uptrend. You notice that we've had several major corrections since January. Each of them stopped at either the 707 or the 786, and the one we're looking at right now would be right at the 786 level if we can get it down around 76.40. We're trading just a tad below 77 right now, so that would tell us if we get down to 76.40, it'd be something to look at, because at that point you'd have a really nice three-drive pattern, and you'd be able to know what you're going to risk, because if you get much below 7,600, this is certainly be a pattern that's not working, and you don't want to be involved with that in any stretch of the imagination, for sure. So keep that in mind. Now we're getting close to the gold, folks. We were looking at this gold to get up to this level, very, very close to where we are now. It's got another $3 to go up to $13.55. That's going to be a really key level to watch, because of the fact that we're right at that spot where we have a beautiful ABCD pattern. Whether that's going to fail or not, I don't know. Now, silver and platinum are still lagging badly, but this is one of the things that you have to look at when you're watching these things, is to watch these patterns. This is a pattern on a 30-minute chart that covers 5 or 6 weeks, so it's certainly a valid pattern. The BC swing was a perfect 382, and everything is lined up. Now, it might not work, but that's an ideal situation that you'd be looking at. So around that 13.55 level, it's about $3 from where we are right now, is spot on. And there you are at that 1.618 level. Now, I wanted to drop a little note to Dudette, who's in the room, about she didn't understand about these numbers from the Fibonacci sequence. Look at me, listen to me, folks, for just a second. All you have to do to prove to you that this stuff really works on a random basis, that it's really not random, that it is predictable, and that is take two random numbers. Take any two numbers you want, like out of 1,000, a million, take two numbers like 15 and 16, or 15 and 61. You add those two numbers together, and you come up with a number. 15 and 61 would give you 76. So then you add 76 and 61 together, and then when you get that, you take that, and then you add the last number, which would be 76, to the total of 130 something, whatever it happens to be, and you keep doing that. And once you get to the 8th integer, in other words, you've done that 8 times, you divide one by the other, and guess what you get? 1.618. And if you divide 1.618, if you multiply, you get 1.618. Divide, you get 0.618. And that shows you that it's not only infinity, but it repeats, and it's not random.
You don't buy into that nonsense, do you? You know you can't time the markets. I didn't. And in 2006, I set out on a mission to do just that. I began by surrounding myself with the greats like Tom O'Brien, Larry Pesavento, David White, and Basil Chapman. I read countless books and even looked to the moon and planets for answers. Now, we both know that trading is 80% mental. So I learned the exact tools that Tony Robbins uses to overcome fear. I'm Steve Rhodes, author of Mastering Probability. And last March, the folks at Timers Digest began tracking my newsletter signals, which through January 18, 2018, placed me as the #1 gold timer for that exact time frame. Now, I can't officially be recognized until Timers Digest has a full year of signals, but clearly I've learned how to time the markets, and I'd like to teach you how to do that as well. Subscribers to Mastering Probability gain access to my live and archive workshops where I show you the exact same patterns that earned me this #1 ranking. If you're looking for great market calls and an education, sign up for Mastering Probability today at TFNN.com.
No matter what kind of trader you are, 2018 is a great time to try out a subscription to Tom O'Brien's Gold Report. Whether you just plan on diversifying your portfolio with some exposure to gold and gold mining equities, or you're a gold bull that sees 2018 as the year of commodities, now is a great time to sign up for the Gold Report. Tom O'Brien publishes his Gold Report every Monday morning before the market opens and covers a variety of topics including gold, silver, platinum, copper, the XAU and HUI, the dollar, bonds, South African rand, as well as more than 20 of the most actively traded mining equities. Start your 2018 off with a bang and sign up for the Gold Report today. The Gold Report is a long-term newsletter where the focus is on building real wealth through the management of a successful portfolio of gold stocks. For all the details and to start your subscription right now, visit the front page of TFNN.com and you'll find the Gold Report under Investment Newsletters. Basil Chapman has just announced that on Tuesday, April 3rd at 6 p.m., he'll be hosting a special 90-minute webinar for all of his subscribers titled The Power of the Fourth Highest Peak, the Peak D in the Chapman Wave. During this 90-minute live webinar, Basil will be discussing how to use the fourth highest peak, the Peak D, as a heads-up for either a directional reversal of consequence or a momentary pit stop for further gains in the Chapman Wave. He'll also be going over what the weekly and monthly implications are for the key indices with their peak Ds and even peak Es, together with the H pattern in the Chapman Wave that he's been following for weeks with his subscribers. Now is a perfect time to sign up for Basil's daily trading service, The Opening Call, while gaining access to the April 3rd live online webinar. Remember, all new subscribers get a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to lose. For all the details and to sign up today for Basil's Opening Call, visit the front page of TFNN.com.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Okay, we're back, folks, and I wanted to hold on a second here. Those of you that are interested in that little book, I don't have it with me, of course, but I'll get the author. William Daniels, I thought is who it was, but you'll get some of that stuff if you've ever had any of Manly Hall's stuff from The Secret Teachings of All Ages. You'll see many of those diagrams in there that shows that relationship between 61% and 1.618. And this is what our solar system looks like. And every time you see those, those planets moving around, they're moving around in those spirals, and that's nothing more than that spiral mirror ballast. And that's pretty much what you're looking at when you're doing this. And what we're looking at is just numbers in nature to see how they fit up with the stock market. And many times they do line up nicely. And other times, you know, they're off by a little bit. But you see it so often that you have to pay relatively close attention to it. So we'll watch how this unfolds recently. Now, the New York Stock Exchange Index is hardly rallying at all compared to what's happening with the NASDAQ and the S&P and, of course, the Dow Jones. So we'll see how these things, finish out the day and then also the week. But, boy, it was sure set up for a big move down, and it didn't do that. It started, in fact, I mentioned in the newsletter that it would probably start in Asia, and it did not. We opened basically unchanged to slightly higher, and away it went from the very beginning. The one thing there, remember I mentioned that there were two things that it had in common, the crashes after those 55 days. The second thing that both of those crashes had in common is once the crash day was over, you had tremendous rallies. You rallied 5 months in 1929. From the market, had the crash on the 29th. It actually bottomed on November the 9th at a slightly lower price and then rallied almost 61% into April 2nd of 1930 and then went down about 90% into July the 5th of 1932. We'll see you all tomorrow on a higher opening, I suppose. 877-927-6648.
Hi folks, Tom O'Brien here. If you'd like to get my daily newsletter, Market Insights, then now is a great time to sign up for a 30-day free trial. Every morning by 9:30, I send out my morning letter to subscribers with market commentary on a variety of markets, currencies, and commodities to keep investors up to date on the day's trading action. Included in Market Insights are specific buy and sell recommendations for stocks, ETFs, and even options, with stops and price targets included for every trade in my newsletter. If you'd like to try my newsletter risk-free for 30 days, then head over to the front page of TFNN and you'll find Market Insights under Trading Newsletters. I use my years of trading experience to bisect and dissect the market every morning and give my subscribers the most important information they need to know for the day ahead. I even issue afternoon updates for my subscribers whenever warranted with important market action. I'm always scouring the market for the next great trading opportunity. Sign up for your 30-day free trial to my daily newsletter, Market Insights, today by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Wow! Go get 'em, folks!